There's a certain kind of magic to cider making, a blend of tradition, craftsmanship, and sheer graft. And today that story begins here, among the orchards of a master cider maker, Stephen Hayes, a man with more than 40 years of experience and owns an orchard of over 100 apple trees, rooted deep in Southampton soil. For the past few years, Stephen and I have formed an unofficial partnership, one that's grown from admiration, trust, and a shared love of honest cider. From his most recent harvest, I purchased 400 litres of beautifully fermented cider. 2 towering 200-litre Vigo vessels now hold what will soon become the next batch of Eden's Gold. And with the cider ready, all that remained was the monumental task of bottling it. So on a cool morning, my family and I gathered around a makeshift production line. 5 people, 3 hours, and over 500 bottles ahead of us. At the heart of the operation was our gravity-powered siphoning machine. It's a simple but brilliant bit of kit. With 4 nozzles working at once, it can fill 200 to 300 litres of bottles every hour. You just open the valves and let gravity do the work. No pumps, no fuss. Just smooth, controlled flow. As each bottle filled, it was passed down the row of tables, where each member of the family had a dedicated job. Efficiency wasn't helpful, it was essential. With this much cider to get through, any slow link in the chain brings everything to a halt. The first stop on the line was the sugar station. Each bottle received a precise dose of sugar and non-fermentable sweetener. This step was all about balance. Just enough sweetness to round the cider, but not enough to kick-start any unwanted fermentation. Accuracy matters here. Too much sugar and you risk bottle pressure. Too little and the cider loses its intended character. Next came the corking, the most physical job of the day. Each cork is pressed in by hand, then tapped firmly into place with rubber mallet to form a tight seal. It's a strangely satisfying rhythm. Bottle, cork, tap, done. Over hundreds of bottles, that rhythm becomes almost meditative. After corking came the cages. These wire caps are twisted tight over the top of each bottle, adding an extra layer of protection against oxygen exposure and keeping the cork firmly secured. It gives each bottle that iconic champagne-style finish, both elegant and practical. Every few minutes we swapped roles, not only to keep things interesting, but to stop fatigue setting in. When you're bottling at pace, you quickly discover that even simple tasks become surprisingly demanding. But that's what made the day so enjoyable. This wasn't just production, this was teamwork. My mother, father, and brother all played their part, moving bottles along, sealing, funneling, filling, in continuous motion. At one end of our improvised production line stood the squat and broad fermentation vessels. At the other, the workhorse of the day, a VW transit van, capable of carrying nearly a ton. It would transport the finished bottles safely back for conditioning and storage. Slowly but surely, rows of empty glass became rows of filled, sealed, and caged bottles. What began as 400 litres in tanks gradually transformed into well over 500 bottles of Eden's Gold. Every one of them handled by us, individually filled, individually sealed, individually checked. Cider making at this scale is physically hands-on. There are no conveyor belts, no automation, no shortcuts. But that's exactly what gives Eden's Gold its character. It's not just a drink, it's the result of craft, tradition, and family effort. A collaboration between Stephen Hayes' decades of mastery and the shared labour of people who care about the final product. So here it is, the latest batch of Eden's Gold. Handmade, honest, and full of the orchard's soul. Thank you for joining us on Bottling Day. And as always, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good health. And more cider making.
Few people really like bone dry cider.
Much more palatable, I think.
I would say that's about right.